What's going on, YouTube? It's that guy right here coming at you with a 2024 NFL mock draft. Just decided to do a little mock draft. I'm probably going to post, Madden gameplays, MLB gameplays, other sports gaming gameplays, as well as potentially like any walkthroughs of video games that I would like to play. But today, I'm just going to start my channel with a quick mock draft video. This draft is very stacked in the quarterbacks and wide receivers as well as the tackles. But there's talent all around, and it's going to be really interesting to see where a lot of these guys go. So, first pick I feel like is a lock after the trade of Justin Fields. So, right now, Caleb Williams, I mean, that guy's a generational prospect. Um, Probably Mahomes-esque, has amazing arm strength, great arm talent, good off-script passer. So the Bears overall did a very good job this offseason of building around that. They picked up DeAndre Swift. They picked up Keenan Allen for a fourth-round pick. So Caleb Williams is in a really good place to start. And that leaves us at number 2 with the Commanders. I believe the Commanders here would take Drake May, who I see as the second best quarterback in the draft, and probably would be the first pick in many other draft classes of the past. Drake May has very good accuracy, very good in the RPO game, play action game, and it's just going to be interesting to see how he translates in the next level. I mean, he's got everything. He's got the size, he's got the arm, he's got the accuracy. Had a little bit of turnover issues last season at North Carolina, but he was playing with nobody, just barely Tez Walker out there. And Patriots, interesting spot at 3. Are they going to take QB? Are they not? They traded Mac Jones away. They need a quarterback. I'm giving them Jaden Daniels. I mean, Jaden Daniels definitely did make strides this year in college. Looked a lot more accurate on all 3 levels. Offers the athleticism comparable to Lamar Jackson, I would say. And just overall, a well-rounded quarterback prospect. And, I mean, taking his speed into account and his running ability, probably has the highest ceiling in the draft this year of any quarterback. And that leaves the Cardinals at 4. And here is where I believe a trade happens. There's multiple teams that are looking to trade up right now. There's a lot of smoke during this time, during draft time, but where there's smoke, there's fire, right? Everyone typically has this trade spot at 5 to the Chargers, but the guy that everyone's targeting right now is J.J. McCarthy from Michigan. I mean, the Broncos met with him for 4 to 5 hours as of my time of recording. You also have the Vikings that are interested in him, and potentially the Giants that could trade up 2 spots to pick him, right? I mean, they're right there. The Cardinals could do that, but right now I just see the Vikings having too much capital to get that trade done. So I'm going to do that trade right now if I could find Minnesota. So I'm here. All right. And then they're going to trade with the Cardinals. So it's going to be 11 and 23. It's going to definitely be like more, but I don't know the exact composition of the trade right now. All that matters is for sure they're going to get 11 and 23, and the Cardinals will get 4, or the Vikings will get 4 in this case. So there you go. The trade has been done, and I don't know if we've ever seen something like this. I mean, I definitely haven't in my time of watching football, but we got the Vikings trading up and taking J.J. McCarthy here. A lot of people hate this pick for some reason, but I mean, he wasn't very productive in college, but if you see his arm strength mixed with his accuracy, I mean, NFL teams like a winner, right? And the Vikings are a pretty good starting spot for J.J. McCarthy, considering they have Justin Jefferson and a pretty good offensive head coach in Kevin O'Connell. So I really do like the fit, but it's just, you're trading a lot to get him, and it's going to be interesting to see how exactly that's going to work. And that leaves us at 5, the Chargers. And, I mean, they say Jim Harbaugh doesn't take receivers, but one has fallen right into his lap, and a generational one at that, Marvin Harrison Jr., teaming up with Justin Herbert. It's going to be a crazy duo if this were to actually be the case Um, I mean, Marvin Harrison can do it all, but the thing that sticks out to me is his deep ball tracking skills. Definitely his size, speed, deep ball tracking. He doesn't have the run after catch ability as a Malik Neighbors per se, but I mean, he's a complete package other than that. And that leaves the Giants here at 6, who maybe wish they got McCarthy, maybe will trade up to get McCarthy. Overall, 4 to 5 range is going to be who's going to trade up and take McCarthy. That's what I believe is going to happen. McCarthy's definitely a lock in the top 5 right now. Number 6, we got the Giants. And with the way the board has fallen, I mean, they really desperately need a weapon. And here I'll have them taking Malik Neighbors out of LSU, the best after the catch receiver in this draft. Had an amazing year at LSU. Arguably could have won the Biletnikoff and should have won the Biletnikoff award. And, you know, the Giants give Daniel Jones a weapon that he very desperately needs. And that brings us to the 7th pick right now, the Tennessee Titans. And, I mean, Joe Alt got to beef up that O-line, help Will Levis, give him some time. They made a few signings. You know, they got Calvin Ridley as well as Tony Pollard to, you know, give Will Levis some weapons. But most important is the trenches. The trenches win or lose football games, and Joe Alt is going to be the tackle that could potentially help Will Levis be protected for his career. Now, going to number 6, we got the Falcons, who just signed Kirk Cousins. So I'm sure that they are, you know, they're content with quarterback position. Obviously, there's no quarterbacks worth taking right now. I mean, could they take another receiver? Maybe, maybe not. Not so sure. Considering their coach hiring, defensive-minded head coach, I believe Dallas Turner will be the pick here. I mean, any other draft he probably would go higher potentially, but this draft is so stacked with offense that he happens to fall here to 8. I mean, Dallas Turner is a complete package as an edge rusher, and I mean, he probably would be in this top 4 range if it wasn't for all this superstar power. But the Falcons definitely need help on the pass rush and the edge, and Dallas Turner definitely gives them the help that they need. Number 9, you got the Bears picking again. I mean, they could really just go anywhere here, anywhere they feel right. I mean, defense could be an issue they address, you know, a Jared Verse maybe. No linebackers. I don't really see a corner going. I mean, maybe Byron Murphy. I mean, they did trade for an interior defensive lineman in the middle of the season last year. But you know what? Quite honestly, I mean, yes, you do have Keenan Allen. Yes, you do have DJ Moore. But why not just take best player available? And in my opinion, right here, that's Rome Odunze from Washington. Definitely the best deep ball receiver in the draft. Um, there's an argument as to Neighbors and Odunze as to who's the number 2. Odunze does offer you a little bit of more size than Malik Neighbors. But overall, I personally have Malik Neighbors rated over Rome Odunze. It's not a huge margin or anything per se. But, I mean, Keenan Allen aging, might as well just have a third really good receiver for the future with Caleb Williams. You know, pair Caleb with Rome Odunze, and you have a great draft. And I know that the Jets are kicking their desks right now because they would have definitely taken that. So, I mean, the Jets did sign 2 tackles, right? They signed Tyron Smith. They don't really need a tackle. This is another team that I believe should go best player available. And right here, that happens to be Brock Bowers. Probably the best tight end prospect that we've seen ever. I mean, this guy could do it all. This guy could block. This guy could catch. This guy's fast. He could play in the inside, on the outside. And he could really pretty much do it on all levels. I mean, to give Aaron Rodgers a versatile weapon like that definitely is going to be a big mistake for the league, I'll tell you that. So that leaves us at the Cardinals at 11. And you know the Cardinals have a lot of needs, so trading down probably is a really good spot and situation for them. But I could see them really addressing the wide receiver need that they have, and you know there's a really good wide receiver available right now. And honestly, in any other draft, I believe he'd be rated way higher. He just happens to be in a draft with three elite prospects, but he is an elite prospect himself. I could see Brian Thomas Jr. going at 11 right here to the Cardinals. I mean, this guy had 18 touchdowns this year. Kyler Murray's in desperate need of a weapon, and they fulfilled that need with Brian Thomas Jr. At number 12, this is what I think is one of the best fits in the draft. I got the Denver Broncos going ahead and taking Bo Nix from Oregon. Bo Nix is not the same Bo Nix from Auburn that we saw a couple years ago. He's definitely a lot, way more improved. He ran the RPO game, quick game in Oregon, and he was very successful in that. And that's what Sean Payton wants in his quarterback. That's why him and Russell Wilson didn't blend well. So I definitely think that this is going to be a good fit. They need a quarterback desperately. I don't really see Jarrett Stidham being their starter. Bo Nix is old enough, mature enough to be a plug and play guy. So that's why I got Bo Nix going 12. Now 13, you got the Las Vegas Raiders. I mean, to me, they do really need a quarterback. I mean, maybe they just try Aiden O'Connell for one more year, but here you gotta take Olu Fashanu or Fashanu. There's a lot of different ways that people say it. Olu Fashanu did struggle against the power rush in college, but I mean he was playing elite prospects. You know, Jack Sawyer, for example, was someone that he struggled a little bit against. But Olu Fashanu definitely gives the Raiders the ceiling that they need at the tackle position. And then we got the Saints. And here, I mean, Cam Jordan aging. They lost Marcus Davenport. Marcus Davenport. I can see them addressing edge, and why not take the speedy, twitchy edge, Jared Verse from Florida State University, to take care of that need. I mean, Jared Verse, at one point in the draft, I believe, was top 10 projected prospect, barely falling out in my little mock draft here. But definitely gives them the upside they need. You know, Cam Jordan could definitely mentor him, and it'll be a fun little thing to see, where exactly that goes. At 15, we got Indy. They did re-sign Michael Pittman Jr., I believe. They franchise tagged him. But they definitely need corner and safety, and I'm going to go ahead and give them Terrion Arnold, someone who was a budding star this year. Kool-Aid was getting picked on, so they decided to throw it to Terrion. And, Terrion Arnold did a really good job in coverage, man, zone. And, the Colts here are getting themselves a really, really talented corner for the future. Now we got Seattle. And this is one of my favorite spots to put a quarterback. The last quarterback on the board being Michael Penix, but with getting Sam Howell, I don't see that happening anymore. I mean, there's definitely a chance they don't really need a corner. I could see them going interior defensive line, with Mike McDonald hiring, and why not take the best DT prospect, in my opinion, Byron Murphy from Texas. I mean, Byron Murphy, I believe, has been linked to Seattle. Definitely a really good prospect out of Texas. Has a lot to offer in the power game. He's a really good disruptor, and Mike McDonald gets a guy that he could beef up the interior of the defensive line with in Byron Murphy here. As we go number 17, we got Jacksonville. And, I mean, Jacksonville could go a number of ways, but I truly believe it's going to be a corner, and I think it's going to be Quinion Mitchell, who had a really good Senior Bowl. I believe he had a really good combine as well. Out of Toledo, don't let the little schools fool you. I mean, this guy covers pretty well. So the Jacksonville Jaguars are potentially getting what could end up being the best corner in the draft. I mean, these corners are pretty close together, honestly. So that's why it's very hard to tell which one is going to be the best, right? We'll find out throughout their careers. And now we got the Bengals, who did get two tackles, right? They did get two tackles. Um, they are rumored to trade T. Higgins. Who knows? And I know there hasn't been many trades after the Viking, or other than the Vikings. There's gonna be way more trades during draft day. It's just hard to, you know, figure out who and where, right? But I could see a world where the Bengals are preparing for, not Tyron Smith, they're preparing for, Orlando Brown or Trent Brown to maybe move on. I believe it's Trent Brown that has 1 year left on his contract. So why not get Amarius Mims to sit behind and learn? This guy's very raw. He didn't have much playing time at Georgia, but he is a mauler. He is a big offensive tackle. I believe he's like 6'8", over 350 pounds. Um, just have him sit and learn a little bit behind two pretty good tackles, and uh, hopefully develop and have a very good career in the NFL and protect Joe Burrow, who's in desperate need of that. At number 19, we got the Rams. And this is another team that could go numerous ways. I mean, could they replace Donald here and take Johnny Newton, Jerzon Newton? Could they take Nate Wiggins here? Potentially, right? I mean, Cooper DeJean, corner safety. This guy could really do it all. But I have them taking Leatu Latu here. I mean, keeping him in California, I feel like it's a little bit of a storyline thing. But, I mean, Leatu Latu is probably the best pure rusher in the draft. Just injuries holding back his draft stock. But I think this would be a very good match, Leatu Latu staying in LA. Why not, right? At number 20, we got Pittsburgh. I mean, they got two quarterbacks. They got Fields. They got Russell Wilson. They still need to work on their O-line. And here, I mean, he's fallen down my board. I doubt he's going to go this low in the real draft. But he just happened to here. Talisi Fuaga out of Oregon State. Really good run blocker, so probably going to help when it comes to blocking for Jalen Warren or Najee Harris, whoever happens to be the running back there this year. But yeah, they get a good offensive tackle to help beef up that O-line and protect Russell Wilson, who likes to run around all day, or Justin Fields, who likes to run. Whoever ends up being the starting quarterback, right? And that leaves us to the Miami Dolphins at number 21. And, I mean, O-line definitely would probably be the move here. Is it guard? Is it tackle? I'm gonna go center here. Center guard Jackson Powers Johnson out of Oregon. A very big reason of the successful run game in Oregon. Bucky Irving definitely owes a big thank you to Jackson Powers Johnson. And his draft stock has soared from the Senior Bowl, so the Dolphins are definitely getting a very elite prospect here in Jackson Powers Johnson. They could play him in center. They could play him at guard. Wherever, I think he's going to be successful at the next level. Number 22, the Eagles. It's a pretty aging team, you could say, right? They just lost Fletcher Cox. They just lost Jason Kelsey. And, I'm sure even though they have a few guys that they drafted, they would like to see Jackson Powers Johnson follow them. But the Dolphins, they snatched that right up, right? So, their secondary is really old, really aging. I mean, they have a lot of guys that we know, right? But they're just not the same anymore. So I just have them here taking the best corner available, Nate Wiggins from Clemson. Could end up just, like I said, there's not really a big difference between the corners in this draft. I feel like, like any position, it's very situational. I mean, and I feel like in this defense, like Nate Wiggins is gonna have a lot of uh, success, like with Philly. Unfortunately, as a Cowboys fan, I have to say that. I mean, anyone that Philly drafts ends up being pretty good, right? Um, and then we got the Cardinals picking again. Just as a refresher, we had the trade down. Um, Two first round picks from the Vikings. I'm sure Arizona is definitely very excited to have. Let's see who I'd have them take here. They already got receiver. They don't need a quarterback. Here, I think, is where Johnny Newton's fall stops. I mean, a lot of people have him borderline out of the first round. I don't really get why. Definitely, probably, I mean, there's definitely competition between him and Byron Murphy, but people just like Byron Murphy because his size a little bit better. Johnny Newton's a little bit smaller of a defensive tackle, so that's why he's falling a little bit down boards. That worries people a bit. But I mean, not to say he is, but Aaron Donald was a little bit undersized. That guy's a Hall of Famer, so I mean, the Cardinals overall are snatching up a pretty good prospect here at defensive tackle and address two very, very big needs of theirs via trading down four. The question is, are they going to really do that? I mean, you got a generational receiver, Marvin Harrison, that could be used to help, you know, Kyler Murray. But, I mean, ultimately, if the capital's good enough, do you turn that down? And then here we got Dallas picking at 24. I mean, this is a team that has so many holes. And, I mean, a guy that probably would best fit their needs right now is Troy Fautanu. I mean, he could kick inside to guard. He could stick at tackle, depending on what they do with Tyler Smith. Uh, Again, just happens to fall here. I don't necessarily know if he's going to go this low in the actual draft. I mean, he could with all the offensive talent, like, receivers and quarterbacks. But Troy Fautanu definitely offers Dallas the offensive line flexibility that they desperately, desperately need. We got the Packers here at 25. I mean, honestly, this is just a fun fit, so I'm going to just do it. Cooper DeJean. I mean, back-to-back Iowa guys. Lucas Van Ness last year, Cooper DeJean this year. I mean, he could play corner safety. This guy's really a really versatile player. And a team that needs a versatile playmaker, Cooper DeJean is that guy. So, they get a pretty good pick here in Cooper DeJean. 26, we got Tampa Bay picking. They definitely need to address the edge. They need to address the cornerback group because they did have a lot of struggles in the pass game last year. And I'm just going to leave them with Kool-Aid McKinstry. Kind of, took a pitfall this year in he took a pitfall when it comes to his draft stock, but definitely still a very talented player. Could even kick back to safety. You never know. But he does have a lot of skills. He's very toolsy, and it's going to be interesting to see where Kool-Aid goes in the draft. But I have him here to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. And the third first-round pick for the Arizona Cardinals. I mean, here, there's just so many guys left that they could take, right? But why not just get another edge rusher? And Chop Robinson might be that guy. He is super explosive, super twitchy and fast, and you've picked two pretty sure prospects in my opinion, and Chop Robinson just seals the deal. His ceiling is insane. And Cardinals A+ on the draft if this somehow happens, right? 3 first-round picks, 3 elite prospects. That would be insane. So now we got Buffalo. Let's just not even wait, right? They desperately need a receiver. I'd go my best receiver available right here, Adonai Mitchell out of Texas. This fills a really big need of theirs, losing Gabe Davis, not really being able to pick up anyone else. Who knows what's going on with Diggs. But Adonai Mitchell is definitely the next prospect up of these leftover guys of the Keon Coleman's, even the Xavier Worthy's, his teammate at Texas. And maybe potentially you could see Troy Franklin go here, but right here I have Adonai Mitchell. 29, we've got the Detroit Lions. And this is another team that could address the corner. And I have them taking Ennis Rakestraw from Mizzou. This guy's skyrocketing in draft boards. I believe he's had a lot of good testing. And teams just like what they see out of Ennis Rakestraw. So, you know, the Lions are definitely filling a need that they need in taking him. Now we got Baltimore here at 30. I mean, this is another team that definitely needs a receiver, right? And I think they do need a big playmaker, big-time playmaker, good deep ball receiver. And that'll be Xavier Worthy. I mean, why not add more speed to that team? That team's already super fast. You got power in Derrick Henry, but you got Lamar Jackson. You got Zay Flowers. And now add Xavier Worthy to that receiving core. And, I mean, no one's going to be able to keep up with those receivers. So, overall, very good pick here for the Ravens. And I'm sure they're very delighted. At 31, I mean, there's probably going to be more tackles to go in the actual draft. But here, J.C. Latham happens to fall to the San Francisco 49ers. Really good prospect in Alabama. Very good offensive tackle there. And, you know, the 49ers are probably laughing their way to the bank with another elite prospect, even picking at 31. And with the last pick in the first round, the Super Bowl winning Kansas City Chiefs, who desperately need a receiver, even though they did pick one up in free agency, they're going to take Troy Franklin here. I guess it goes away, but Troy Franklin had a very, very good year at Oregon this year, and, you know, in a team that really needs receiver, this is definitely a really, really good pick for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. But all right, guys, I appreciate you guys watching. I'm still trying to learn a little bit more about deeper down the board, so if I kind of stall a bit or, you know, just beat around the bush, that's what it is. You know, I'm just getting into this whole scouting / drafting thing. But this is what I could see happening in the draft. You know, there's definitely going to be more trade-ups. There's definitely going to be more moves. There's going to be a lot of shocker picks, but this is who I would pick if it were, or this is what I would think the draft could potentially look like, right? Maybe positions, at least position-wise. But again, I appreciate you guys watching. If you liked football content, sports content, or walkthroughs, hit the subscribe button, give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed, and I appreciate you guys watching. Thank you very much.